Okay, so a Frontier opening bell is Wednesday, the 9th of October. Just as we get into the middle of the week, this is how the Tuesday trading day look like across the markets that we cover on a daily basis on Frontier Africa reports. The Nigerian market was down by 12 basis points. FBN Holdings, Guinea's second largest brewer, International Brews, the third largest brewer by market cap. Then a few other big names such as MTN declined as a bit of a profit booking on Tuesday on the NGX. That's taking the NGX social index below the 98,000. The BRVM came very strong Tuesday. Big gains on the counter by banking names such as Société Générale of Côte d'Ivoire, as well as the Bank of Africa of Mali. Those two names in the banking space, including the SICC, lifted the composite in Côte d'Ivoire to 269.72. If it crosses to 270, that's going to be a new high for that general index. The Egyptian market, after some gains from the start of the week in Cairo from Sunday, the market pulled back very strongly, 3.04% Tuesday. Then you look at the Nairobi stock market, 0.56%, riding the wave of the 75 basis points interest rate cut by the central bank under Dr. Kamal Tuje. And of course, that took the headline interest rate down to 12% because inflation, as for official data, still under wraps in East Africa's biggest economy. You have the GSE down roughly 1% on Tuesday. So that's just a summary of how we finished off on Tuesday. Let's move on to what the big news across the region, and of course, starting as always in East Africa. Kenya's rate cuts is making a big splash. Of course, that came a day after the Bank of Uganda, also in the same region, cut interest rate by 25 basis points to 9.75% because inflation in Uganda was treading water at a very low level, around 3%. We're expecting today the start of the second AFCFTA Business Forum. The head of the AFCFTA Secretariat, Wamkele Mene, will be speaking at the official opening of this very important event, taking the whole conversation on intra-Africa trade a little bit more further, providing further updates on where we are on the new agreements. Somalia is looking at a $17 million port construction to start in December, while the country says its 2025 budget has been arrived at $1.34 billion US. Tanzania has completed a very major infrastructure, the bridge, $300 million. That's the cost linking Rwanda, Tanzania, and a few other countries within the region. It's a major gateway for trade, logistics within the region. I would say congratulations to the government of President Samia Suluhu Hassan. Uganda Airlines says it secured 4 weekly slots between the country and the Gatwick Airport in the city of London. Those are the headlines, East Coast. Let's move on and check with Nigeria. The currency made some gains on market streets outside the official market on Tuesday. We'll see how that will continue for the rest of the week. The rise trading around 1,560. In the meantime, the country posted a 22.85% decline in quarter-on-quarter capital inflow for the second quarter, April to June. That's the latest figure. Year on year, however, that figure was much higher by 152%, according to data released Tuesday by the Statistics Office. The SEC Commission has appointed a 9-man committee led by Professor Uche Walike, Nigeria's first professor of the capital markets, to review the curricula for securities and investment management in Nigerian universities and other tertiary institutions. And for Senegal, the UK's private sector lending organization, the BI, that's the British International Investment, says it's done a risk-sharing facility with EcoBank. It's about $25 million, EcoBank of Sierra Leone, to support lending within that West African economy. In the meantime, the World Trade Organization's World Cotton Conference happens this week in Cotonou between Monday and Tuesday. We've got details of that as well. You can look at that up. Let's move on to Southern Africa. The banks in Malawi are retaining the benchmark rate of about 25.4%. However, South Africa, which is the biggest economy, that's where the rand is holding around the 17.50 yesterday to the dollar. The RMB says its base case for the rand is to trade around 17.25 to the dollar by the first quarter of next year. There are doubts as to whether the rally that was seen in the rand against the dollar will hold water between now and the early 2025. Zimbabwe, however, has caught travelers cash to $2,000, down from $10,000. It's the scarcity of foreign currency, by the way, in the troubled economy in Zimbabwe. So they got to cut that a little bit. That's what came from the central bank, the RBZ, by the way. Zambia is looking at over 2,005 or so, more than 2,500 delegates attended its first mining and investment in Saka. Well, it's mining in Daba in South Africa. The Zambians said this is mining and investment in Saka. Zambia is marking 100 years of mining activities in the Southern African economy. And ABSA says it's getting regulatory approval to onboard Charles Wilson as an interim CEO of the financial services group headquartered in South Africa. Those are your headlines there within the Southern African region. What else do we have in the north of the continent? Morocco's central bank, Bank al-Maghrib, says it's onboarding digital identity against errors and fraud and prevent all kinds of problems within the Moroccan space. The Air Arabia Mahawk is said is launching new flights that will connect in Tetuan in the country to Rotterdam in Europe. That's opening the skies a little bit further for this airline and the partnership between North Africa and Europe. Egypt is looking to cut its debt to GDP ratio below 85% over a 3-year period. That's according to the country's finance minister, while industrial sector performance lifted Morocco's third quarter growth figure to 2.8% as agriculture continued to lag. And finally, Tanzania is partnering expansion into Egypt, adding to Pan-African presence, while South Africa and Egypt have a new collaboration to increase electricity and renewable energy projects in North Africa's biggest economy. You got top officials from South Africa in Egypt over the last few days has been reported in the local media. Just got to let you know about that as well. That's your frontier. Open Bell for today, Wednesday, the 9th of October. Have a great day, everyone, and see you back on the show tomorrow.